Joining us now is Colorado Democratic Congressman Jason Crow, an Afghanistan war veteran who sits on the Intelligence and Armed Services Committees. Congressman, I appreciate you being here today. You've come out in favor of extending the deadline for the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Given what's happened today, given the deaths of American service members, given the intel that suggests more attacks are possible, do you stand by that thinking in light of those events today?
Yeah, our combat mission in Afghanistan is over after 20 years, and I agree with the president's decision to withdraw and to end that mission. But we now have a new mission, and that new mission is not over. We do not leave American citizens behind in a war zone. We do not leave our friends and partners behind in a war zone. We are the United States of America. We stand by our people. We stand by our citizens. We have the strongest military in the world. Over 2,400 of our troops have been killed over the last 20 years, including when I was doing combat missions as an Army Ranger. And never once did we allow terrorists or people attacking us to stop one of our missions. We decide when we stop one of our missions, and we stop when we get the job done.
You know, as a member of the Intelligence Committee, I know you received a briefing, a classified briefing from the administration earlier this week, and I know you can't talk about the specifics of that meeting, the intelligence there. But what can you say about whether there were warnings or the degree to which those warnings were given about the possibility of an attack or attacks like the ones we saw today?
Yeah, there absolutely were warnings. I mean, we have known all along that this is a very dangerous situation. You know, my heart is mourning. I am grieving for the loss of these service members that we've lost today and their families. In fact, I have a very, very close friend of mine, a mentee of mine who I've known for many years, who's actually sitting at that gate right now as we're sitting having this conversation. I've been thinking about him constantly today. This is dangerous stuff. It's been dangerous for the last 20 years, and it's dangerous today. And we have an incredible military, and it's because we have incredible men and women who are doing courageous work to save people's lives. And we cannot emphasize that enough, and we cannot stand behind them enough. There is going to be risk, but that's what we train for. That's what we have this military for. And that's why we're going to get the job done.
Aside from the evacuation effort, how should President Biden respond to today's attacks? Should that response include sending more U.S. troops into Afghanistan, reopening Bagram potentially to help with the evacuation effort and to respond militarily if necessary?
I think the issue of reopening Bagram, I think that ship has certainly sailed. I don't see logistically how we would make that happen. And I can't sit here today as a member of the Armed Services and Intelligence Committee and say that I have the most up-to-date operational information to make a recommendation about whether or not there should be more troops. What I've said all along is we need to not be hesitant to send in the troops, the soldiers, the Marines, and the resources necessary to get the evacuation done and to secure that airport and to expand that perimeter sufficiently so that we can do it in a safe and effective way. And I will continue to call on that and just ask the president not to falter if that's what the mission requires. If it requires us to send more troops in, then that's what we need to do, because the mission is not done, and it won't be done until we bring our people home.
Lastly, I'll just ask you, as a veteran, as an American citizen, what do you want to hear from President Biden when he speaks? We expect that he might speak at some point today.
Well, I think the first thing that we have to hear out of the Commander-in-Chief, and I guarantee we're going to hear this because I know President Biden to be a man of heart and integrity and compassion, and he is the Commander-in-Chief that first and foremost has to understand that we just lost some of our best Americans today. So expressing sympathy for that tragedy and support for their families who are going through just terrible grief right now, first and foremost. And then, secondly, I hope that we hear what I've been pushing for many months, actually, and that is that we're going to get this job done. We're going to evacuate our American citizens and our Afghan partners, and we're going to get it done quickly.
All right, Congressman Jason Crow, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Now, for more on this, I want to bring in